welcome back to a brand new video. Today it is going to be Ten Hag. The news has dropped. He's going to stay as Manchester United manager, and today we are going to go through his 4-2-3-1 and what we can expect to see next season. Now, we have got 3 variants today. All of those can be downloaded across on the Patreon, or you can copy them in this video, of course. Let's get into the testing, but firstly, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is completely free and helps out massively, big time, more than you can imagine. Let's go over and see how well Manchester United done. We're going to start off with Manchester United in the Champions League. We are actually going to win in 2-0 fashion over Barcelona, with Rasmus Højlund scoring 11 goals across all the competition. We also are going to win that Carabao Cup against Man City, which is quite a good final. We love to see that. We'll take it. Another trophy against City. Let's have it. Fortunately, just shy of Premier League champions. It would have been a little bit too good in my opinion. Liverpool had a very, very strong season, as did we, but they just, we picked up a bit too many draws, to be honest. It's as simple as that. Liverpool won majority of their games. We still had a very strong season. Bruno Fernandes being our top goal scorer. Rasmus Højlund joint second with Mo Salah. We've got 2 players in the highest average rating and 2 players there in the most assists as well, in Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. So Bruno really enjoying a really strong season. And going over to the team stats, we are going to feature in 3. Being the most goals at 109, the fewest shots against at 188, the most shots at over 708. Possession-wise, we are going to be in 5th place with 55% of the ball, and defensively, we were not too bad at all. 2nd when it comes to fewest conceded, and 2nd when it comes to the most clean sheets. So we were by no means in the imagination a bad team when it comes to performance based off the stats either. Unfortunately as well, the FA Cup, we are going to get knocked out against Norwich, the only real disappointment across the entire season, but a 2nd place Prem finish, a Champions League win, and a Carabao Cup win, I think we're going to take, to be fair. Now, the data hub is going to show a little bit like this. 2.87 goals per game, 0.55 conceded, over 18.6 shots a match, an 89% pass completion, and an 80.7% tackle win ratio. That is a very strong season, not only of what we have won, but also purely looking at a set of stats. And it wasn't the most dramatic Champions League final. Like I said, a 2-0 win. We did go down to 10 men as well, but Rasmus Højlund makes it 1-0 with 77 minutes on the clock, and it is going to be Malacia who does actually wrap up this final with a great bit of individual quality in 82 minutes played. Next up is going to be his previous team, obviously Ajax over in the Dutch League, where we put on an absolute masterclass, only losing 2 games, winning 30 out of 34. Brian Broby, Berghuis finishing 1st and joint 2nd with the goals. We've got 3 players inside of the average rating, and also 2 players when it comes to the most assists, where we actually get joint most assists, Behin Bergwijn and Berghuis coming in, which is a really, really strong season. Also picking up the most clean sheets on this occasion. As you can see, very, very convincing. Most clean sheets, fewest conceded. Possession-wise, second place, 3% behind PSV there, which is quite close, to be fair. Fewer shots against, the most shots for, the most goals at 107, and the most points per game. Really putting on a strong display here across all aspects of the game. And as you can go and see here, unfortunately, that is going to be where we finish in terms of wins. We get all the way to the Europa League final, where unfortunately we match up against Liverpool and do lose 2-1 in that final. Done really well to get to the final in the first place. And the Dutch Cup, we're not going to discuss because that really did not go in our favour, but a very strong Dutch League performance, and obviously Europa League being a very strong performance there. And going over to the data hub, it is going to be 3.15 goals per game, 0.41 conceded, a 20.3 shots per game ratio, a 90% pass completion, and a 77.26% tackle win ratio. That is a set of stats which I'll happily take. It really was goals galore with this Ajax tactic, or this Ten Hag tactic with Ajax, should I say. Bergwijn into Broby inside of 48 seconds to make it 1-0 there. Sosa into Bergwijn out on the left. So much space, so much opportunity. A ball back stick into Berghuis there to make it 2. Taylor into Satalo, time with the ball over the top into Henderson, into Broby to make it 3-0. And this was all done in 6 minutes. We do find a way to get another goal here with Sosa down the left-hand side, ball back into the middle. A great ball, a great finish. We'll take it, and Berghuis will also take the penalty. That was just in the first half. Still time for more goals, as you can see. A ball back stick there from Satalo as Henderson picks it up, plays it back into Wrench, into Taylor in the middle, through into Berghuis, making it look so easy. And this game still had time for one more goal. Into Berghuis, down the right-hand side, cut it back. We'll take it 8-0. We tested with Bayern to see what would happen if he would have went there in some miracle land, and this would have been a very good season for Bayern fans. We win 31 out of 34 games, draw 1 and do lose 2. Harry Kane scores 34, 3 players in the highest average rating and 2 players in the most assists, with Kingsley Coman and Alphonso Davies simply not being able to outcompete each other, both having a really strong season. We've got players in the clean sheets with Manuel Neuer picking up 22, most points per game at 2.76, most goals at 105, most shots at over 600 130, fewer shots against at 118. Possession-wise, we are going to be up there in P3 with 57% of the ball, most dribbles, fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. A very, very strong season. The data hub is also going to back this up, while we see 3.09 goals per game, 0.38 conceded, over 18.7 shots every single match, and a great pass completion, just shy of 90%. But of course, we did play in other competitions. The Champions League knocked out in the semi-finals. To clarify, we would not been able to win that anyway, because we obviously won it with Manchester United, so that would not have been possible anyway. The Pokal, we are going to be runners-up, unfortunately, against RB Leipzig, who did enjoy a very good game. But we did win the German Super Cup at the start of the season against Leipzig, so we done one over and on there and over in the league. So it is going to be a double winning season. Could have been a treble, but unfortunately, as I said, slipped up just in the Pokal. As you can see from the Champions League final, one thing we did not struggle with this tactic is to beat the best teams in the game. And we get off to a good start here against Man City in the Champions League, which we did beat them 7-4 in the end over both legs in aggregate. Erling Haaland did bounce back there to make it 1-1. We go and make it 2-1 now with 61 minutes on the clock. Davies into Muller, nice and simple. They do bounce back, and this game was very like this for a large portion of the game. After this goal went in, I did switch to the attacking variant to make sure we cemented the game, and we actually went on to score, somehow in limited time, 4 goals. The first one coming in from Musiala, from Gnabry on the left-hand side. Alphonso Davies drives with the ball down the left-hand side, back into the middle. A little bit lucky there, but it is going to be Brian who does get the goal there. The third one coming in from Conrad Lima, picking it back into Brian, through into Musiala, making it look so simple. And there is time for one more goal. That is going to be a Kanji losing out to Brian. He goes through. Wraps up the game. Now, of course, over to your favourite part of the video. That is going to be the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to get all of these perks on the screen right now, you can do so by joining the Patreon. You get all 3 of the tactics. You get the rebuild files. You get all the videos early. You also get the tactics early. You also can get your hands on access to the monthly giveaway, which at the moment is £300. You also get one-on-one tactical help and access to a massive group of people. We have got over 4,500 people all talking tactics. You don't want to miss that. Come and join in the description below. But let's go through and talk about Erik ten Hag, or ETH 4231. So we are going to kick things off with a sweeper keeper who is simply going to be on attack. That is one thing we definitely do know. Onana is not afraid to come out and play quite aggressively when we're out of possession, especially sitting quite high. He loves playing in that role. A wing back on the right is going to be set on support, on stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Well, we are going to go with a ball playing defender, on defend, and a ball playing defender. And I think for the first time in history on this channel, a stopper being used, because Martinez does get out. He's very aggressive, like a Jack Russell biting at the ankles. He is going to go and get a challenge in, and he is going to need us to be on that stopper role. The wing back on the left is going to be set to support on run wide, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So a mixed back four here, a very good back four which do different things every single role. The DM comes in on the left, and that is going to be set on defend, on tackle harder, and mark tighter. And next one, we are going to go with the Volante on support, on get further forwards, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So really good balance in this midfield. Now, I would argue Kobbie Mainoo is a very good box-to-box, and you are going to see that in the attacking variant. But for this default variant, we are going to go with a DM, someone to sit deep, and the Volante to be a little bit more aggressive on the right-hand side. The inverted winger on the right is going to be on support, on close down more, and tackle harder. And on the left, we will have an inside forward, the Marcus Rashford, who's going to cut in, shoot more often, close down more, and of course, tackle harder. Nice, aggressive players. In the midfield, we are going to have an attacking midfield player on attack, on take more risks, and roam from the position, and tackle harder. And lastly, up top is going to be Big Rasmus, the complete forward on attack, simply on tackle harder. Now, the team instructions all based off the Tiki Taka on the positive mentality. We are going to go all the way up to fairly wide. We're going to pass into space while focusing down the left and the right hand side, all while, of course, while playing out from the back with a higher tempo, a shorter passing directness, and low crosses with the wonderful run at defence. So it is going to be quite an intense system with shorter passing. Obviously, when we've got the ball, we are going to be running at the team, exciting, fast-flowing football. That is what we are meant to be about, which obviously we all like to see back home. We are going to play the ball out quickly by ticking this. We're going to counter press, and play to anyone across this back line. So quite a risk-free sort of situation at the back there, not taking too many risks, hitting on the counter press when we've not got the ball. It's very in your face and very, very effective. And out of possession, we are going to go with the standard line, the high pressing line of engagement, prevent short goal distribution, and more often when it comes to the trigger press. For the attacking version, we are going to push up those 2 midfield players, or DMs, into central midfield plays. So we are going to be a little bit more aggressive in that regard, but we also have changed some other things in the team instructions. instructions. But to clarify, the goalkeeper remains the same, as does both of the wing backs and both of the centre backs. The real big change is going to be done in this midfield, where of course we did have two DMs, or two defensive midfield players, one as a volante, so a little bit more aggressive, and one as a DM. On this occasion, we have got a DLP on defend, on tackle harder, and mark tighter, and the box-to-box, the Kobe Maino of the team, is going to be brought back into the team, with the left-hand side and the right being exactly the same, and the attacking midfield player and the centre forward also remaining exactly the same. Now, I will say a couple of tweaks you can make if you want to go even further is to add on this box-to-box, get further forwards, and you could also drag the striker over to the right here and have Bruno as a shadow striker playing in this pocket here and getting forward, and it would translate into somewhat a 4-2-4 when you are going to be attacking. But let's go over to the team instructions. So it is going to be on Tiki Taka on the attacking mentality. We are going to go to fairly wide, pass it into space, overlap on left, overlap on right, focusing down the right and the left-hand side, all while playing out from the back. We are going to max out the tempo while adding on be more expressive, run at defence, shorter, and of course the famous low crosses. Now what we've done here is we've basically got the same foundation but just added a few things to make it a lot more attacking. Getting the fullbacks overlapping is a big thing in this tactic now, being more expressive, really taking the game to the opposition. Now when it comes to in transition, it is going to be nice and simple, pretty much the same, playing to anyone across the back line, getting the ball moving quickly, counter-attacking, and with the counter press, so not too much to talk about there. But what is to talk about is out of possession. We are going to maintain this much more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. We are going to rock the high pressing line of engagement and the higher defensive line. To defend those games out, we have made the 4-2-3 a little bit more possession based, very more defensively solid. The goalkeeper does remain the same. The wing back on the right is now going to be on defend, on stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. We then get rid of the stopper role and have two default ball playing defenders, so they are going to be a little bit more reserved, especially the one on the left. The wing back on the left is going to be set to run wide, tackle harder, and mark tighter. And now the midfield gets another change, as we are going to introduce a halfback on the right, on tackle harder and mark tighter, and a DM on the left, on support, on take fewer risks, shoot less often, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Now on the right hand side, we are going to move to a support role on the winger, on pass it shorter, close down more, and tackle harder. And on the left, we are going to go with a slightly different flavour. The inside forward, we are pretty much going to have him replicated with pass it shorter, shoot more often, close down more, and of course tackle harder. Now this tactic is to defend games out, but of course I still want to get goals, so that is why you're going to see instructions like shoot more often on, because we are here to obviously have more possession, not be as aggressive. But at the end of the day, when you've got someone like Marcus Rashford, a player who has got good finishing, although he's not been great in real life, in the game he can put the ball in the back of the net, so I want him to be doing that. In the midfield, we are going to have an attacking midfield player on support, on pass it shorter, roam from position, move into the channels, and of course tackle harder. And lastly, we are going to finish off with the complete forward on attack, on pass it shorter, and of course tackle harder. Again, tiki-taka, but this time set to balanced, all the way down to balanced. We are going to play out from the back while passing the ball into space with a slightly higher tempo. Directness is going to go all the way down to much shorter with low crosses. Very nice and simple, nothing too much to play about there at all, but it is going to get the job done. It's a very possession orientated tactic now, with not too much aggressiveness when it comes to running at defense and being more expressive. Very, very tame. In transition, again, a big change. Take short goal kicks, playing to anyone across the back line, and simply hitting the counter press. We're not even going to look to counter on this occasion. And lastly, we are going to go with a lower defensive line with the high pressing line of engagement, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and more often. And that is going to complete for you boys and girls back home Eric Ten Hag's 4-2-3-1. If this video does get 60 likes, I will make the FA Cup tactic, because that is very unique as a 4 treble 2, so hopefully you want to see that. And if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You can go over to the Patreon and check that out, where you can get over 13 exclusive perks exclusively to you. So I'll see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.